has been committed to providing professional, personalized service for the last 35 years. They understand that the right equipment does not always fall within today's budget requirements, so they offer several options for the equipment you need today for the growth you expect tomorrow. Call James Smothers at 784-6601, 784-6601. Reliable copy products on Harrison Avenue, just north of Bay High School.
Hello, this is Rick Vossen with RV of Panama City, your local Stormore portable building dealer. We are located on 2241 East Baldwin Road, Panama City. Shopping for an 8-foot to 16-foot in width or 10-foot to 60-foot in length, cabin, garage, portable building, whatever the needs are. Remember, at Stormore, we can insulate our buildings. We can put electric on, thermal windows, transom dormers. There's so much we can do. Stormore Portable Buildings, 2241 East Baldwin Road.
Hi, I'm Lana Clausen, a farmer in Setanta, Kansas. The agriculture industry has come a long way. Advancements in science and technology have transformed the sector, creating new job opportunities and a demand for highly skilled workers. I am proud to support the next generation of ag leaders through the America's Farmers Grow Ag Leaders program sponsored by the Monsanto Fund. Each year, farmers can help local students by endorsing them for a $1,500 Grow Ag Leader scholarship. The scholarship allows students to pursue their dreams of studying an agriculture-related field. Each year, the program provides more than $500,000 to students enrolling in trade schools and at 2- and 4-year colleges and universities. A variety of fields are eligible, including farming, education, agronomy, engineering, mathematics, data science, communications, and many more. I encourage high school seniors and college students to apply today by visiting growagleaders.com.
It's a bully, but we aren't afraid of a fight. It's elusive, but our focus never fades. It's deadly, but we were born to defeat cancer. You may not have heard of us, but our work has helped millions impacted by cancer. We are the Leukemia and Lymphoma Society. We are leaders in advancing breakthroughs in immunotherapy, genomics, and personalized medicine. This research saves lives. After 65 years of fighting blood cancers, we've arrived at a game-changing belief. The cures for cancer are in our blood. The drugs and treatments we've developed for blood cancers have helped people affected by many different types of cancers. We are the Leukemia and Lymphoma Society. Beating cancer is in our blood. Learn more at lls.org.
It's time to put your toys away. It's bedtime.
Just a little longer.
5 more minutes. Boy, are you ready to go?
Almost finished, Mom.
5 more minutes. You're gonna be late for graduation. James.
Okay, I'm going.
To all the parents who gave their children the time to discover their passions, thank you.
I would do anything for my friends. They're like family to me. Sometimes saying no can be scary. But I'm so glad I was brave enough to say yes to living a drug-free life. This message is brought to you by the U.S. Air Force.
WGSX Lynn Haven, WTOT, W271BM Mariana. Powered by Pepsi. 102.1, 104.3, ESPN Northwest Florida.
Transmission starts in 3, 2, 1.
Broadcasting from the Rib Crib Radio Room. The Afternoon Underdogs are taking your calls live. 850-215-6290. 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida.
Welcome in. You are riding with the Afternoon Underdogs. I'm David Hayes. We've got Brian Haddad in the building and Miles Lashley on the board. What's going on, gentlemen? How are we doing? How's it going, Brian?
I'm just, where are the gentlemen? I mean, I'll answer, but...
How's it going, Brian?
No, it's going well. Going well. Been pretty busy, but always make time to come in here and talk sports with you guys. So,
and we appreciate it. What's going on with you, Miles?
Nothing much, man. Another Wednesday. Wednesday.
It's hump day,
Forgetting
man.
my days, man.
I am excited
Week
for
zero.
Week 0. I'm excited for tomorrow. We've got Amanda Muller in the building with us as well. That'll be fun. A lot of guests on with us today. Coming up next, we've got Alan Watson, owner of Golf Plus. Sam Peebles joins us at 4:30 talking some Atlanta Braves. Trivia opens up at 4:45 today. Ivan Mazel with On3.com at 5 o'clock. Todd Mueller with PCB Coins and Cards at 5:15. And then to pretty much wrap the show up, we'll have Steve Barnes, who's the senior writer for the RebelWalk.com. Always get some great stories out of Steve. You guys are riding with the Afternoon Underdogs on 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida and also 102.1 FM in Mariana. You can catch us on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, and with our TV partner, blabtv.com. If you don't have them through your TV service provider, then you can get their channel or app on your Fire Stick or Roku device. Just go to the channel search and add BLABTV. Real quick, let's start it off before we get into some of the volleyball scores and some of the other headlines. This was a segment I wanted to do last week when we had Coach Siegel with us, but we don't have him here with us. So let's do a little flash in the pan, or are they building a program? And we'll start off with the defending national champion. Are they a flash in the pan, or is Kirby building a program with longevity? We'll start with Brian. What you got?
Well, as a Bama fan, I wish they were a flash in the pan. I think the days of constantly reminding them about 1980 are over. I think they've definitely built a program that's going to be here. I mean, the way Kirby recruits and the national brand that's been built around Georgia and the money that's flowing into that program, I think they're going to be around for quite a while.
Miles?
Even if Kirby takes that Alabama job in 10 years.
He's not taking that job. Kirby is where Mama called. You know, he's home. So I don't think he's taking that Alabama job. I think he's at Georgia for long as they'll have him.
Yeah, I think he's built them back up to a powerhouse, and he's here to stay with them. Once they can start developing quarterbacks, they'll be in the playoff just about every year. They just got to get that quarterback spot up.
Yeah, I think they can do it with the mailman this year, to be honest with you. Hearing a lot of good things about Stetson Bennett. If he shows up, if he makes it to New York City as a Heisman finalist, I want him to be wearing a United States Postal Service hat whenever he gets there. But no, they're not a flash in the pan. Kirby's been building a program, and then like you said, the jokes from 1980, those are pretty much in the past now, and we'll see a lot more out of Georgia. But just wanted to use them as the starting point. Moving on to another team, Wake Forest. Now, they just had some heartbreaking news to their quarterback position in Sam Hartman. Flash in the pan, or is Wake Forest building a program?
They're a flash in the pan to the extent that about every 8 to 10 years they'll pop up and have like 2 good years. Because they're always in the ACC, they're always going to be able to occasionally get it right. And Dave Clawson's done a good job there, but they're not going to consistently be able to draw in the type of talent to where they're going to be a power year in, year out. And I would have thought they'd have still been pretty good this year, but without Sam Hartman, that's going to be very, very difficult for those guys. So I'd say they're more of a flash in the pan than they are building a program.
Miles?
Yeah, I think they're a flash in the pan also. 11-3 last year, great year. There's some down teams in the ACC. That's why they had that year they did last year. So I'm going with flash in the pan. I don't see them coming back to this level for another 5-6 years.
Man, for me, I would love to be able to say that they were not just a flash in the pan, but building a program. But with the loss of Sam Hartman, it does seem to be that they're going to be a flash in the pan, because if they were to be able to win the ACC or play in the ACC championship game again this year, that only helps recruiting, and you can replace Sam Hartman and move on from there and continue to build your program. But at this point in time, we're going to call them, or I'm going to call them, as the same as both of you guys did, a flash in the pan. Next, Mel Tucker, $9 million man. Michigan State, flash in the pan or building a program?
Here's where we may have some disagreement. I'm going to say flash in the pan for this reason. I'm not sold on Tucker yet. He may prove me totally wrong this year, but I think he had a great season under difficult circumstances with kind of some of the spiraling that happened there at the end of D'Antonio's career. I just don't see it yet. They have the ability to be a good program, but remember, the Big Ten's about to get a lot more difficult.
Right.
And I just don't see it. I think they're going to come back to earth this year. I think they're probably looking at a 7-5 year this year. And if that's the case, they're going to slip back into that mediocre mold. So I'm going to say they were a flash in the pan last year, but I could very well be wrong on this one.
Yeah, I'm with you right there. I think they grossly overpaid this man way too early, and that's bad to say. It's scary for their fans, but I think they're going to go back right where they belong, Michigan's little brother, and it's going to be Michigan, Ohio State, the top two big dogs in that conference.
I'm inclined to agree with you guys. I'm going to say building a program, even though I think you could have given Kenneth Walker $9.5 million last year himself for what he did for the Spartans of Michigan State. But I'm going to say that with the money that they gave him, there is no choice here other than building a program, because with that deal, if you don't, if you're not in the college football playoff or at least relevant, and like you said, it's about to get a whole lot tougher in the Big Ten. If you're not in the CFP within 2 years, are you really worth $9.5 million a year? So I'm going to say building a program at this point in time. Yeah. The next one I got on the list is UTSA. Now this. What's that?
UTSA.
University of Texas, San Antonio, the Roadrunners, they had a fantastic year last year. A lot of people are not going to know a whole lot about their roster, but what do you guys think? Flash in the pan, or are they building a program?
I like what they've done, but they're flash in the pan, and they're flashing the pan because there's too many other great programs in Texas.
I think they're building a program inside the Conference USA. I just pulled up their schedule. They start off the season with Houston.
Good team.
Then they got Army, and then week 3 they have Texas. They can get 3 wins out of that, because Texas is going to drop some of those games this year. I just know it. They can get 3 wins out of that. I think they can go undefeated.
I like what they've done, and they're going to play in a fairly easy conference. So they could put up decent records, but I don't think they're doing anything to build a program bigger than what they are now.
That's great stuff. I would love to call them a flash in the pan. Actually, I would love to say that they're building a program. If they do what Miles said and they go 3-0, Texas being one of those marquee wins.
And Houston.
And Houston as well, because a lot of people have Houston being the Cincinnati of last year as far as the group of 5 teams go. I'm going to have to call them a flash in the pan, though. They did great for a lot of people's wallets last year.
Yeah.
They
No
did.
doubt. Well, and keep in mind, they're going to get Texas the week after Texas plays Alabama. So they're playing Texas at the right time to beat them. I think Houston's going to get them, though. I do. And Army might. Army's a tough team to play.
You can never discount Army. Right. That is for sure. The final one that we have here is Utah State, who went 11-2 last year, maybe 11-3 if you include the bowl game. They're taking on Alabama week 1 as well. Flash in the pan, or are the Aggies building a program?
I think they're building a program, as long as they can keep their coach. And we'll see how long that lasts, because I think he's done a wonderful job out there. They only have to look across the state to see how to build a program. Mm-hmm. Look what Utah did. You don't have a huge competition out west, really. And with USC and UCLA going into the Big Ten, the Western teams playing other Western teams, it's going to be wide open. So I think they could follow the Utah mold. And as long as they can keep their coach out there, I think they're building a really solid, consistent program.
I think they were a flash in the pan. Just coming into this year, they have a few harder games. They have Alabama, BYU, Air Force, who Zuby said yesterday, I'm pretty sure is going to be a pretty good team. Yep. Tough to play this year. Air Force. And after that, they have Hawaii, then Boise State. I think Boise State's going to be a tricky game for a lot of teams this year.
See, but I think that's going to help them, because they're going to be more visible this year than they've ever been by some of these games that they're playing. So in terms of building a long-term program, they're going to raise their brand this year. So that may help them. Yeah, they're going to take some L's.
Yeah, but they're playing bigger brands, better teams.
I think so.
I'm going to call them a flash in the pan, just because when you started off with Alabama, 2017 Florida State, pretty good indicator of what happens. Texas, I think, is going to feel a lot of those same feelings this year in week 2 against Alabama. Miami didn't do too shabby after starting off the year. Their first 4 or 5 games after that didn't look so good. Then Tyler Van Dyke took over, and that's where the Hurricanes' fortune kind of changed. Tonight you have North Bay Haven at Rutherford. JV starts at 5, varsity at 6, and then Arnold at Fort Walton Beach. JV starts at 5:30, varsity at 6:30. Some of the headlines, and this is a big one I'm sure for you, Brian, or at least closer to you than it is.
How old do you think I
right?
do?
All right, so Lynn Dawson, quarterback for the Kansas City Chiefs, led them to Super Bowl 4, passed away at the age of 86. Your sources?
My sources say that Pujols is using some stuff Tatis was using, and he's going to get past 700.
Clusteball. He's
going to fight the ringworm himself, is he?
Right. So Albert Pujols has ringworm. Also, in other news, Florida State head coach is going to miss the entirety of the 2022 season, so they'll have to be looking for a replacement there at linebacker. He was supposed to be one of the guys who kind of stepped up into that leadership role this year, so they're going to be needing some depth. Maybe not week 1 against Duquesne, but when it comes to week 2, in Baton Rouge. Well, they're not playing in Baton Rouge. They're playing with the Afternoon Underdogs on 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida. Quick timeout. We'll be back with Alan Watson, the owner of Golf Plus.
ESPN Northwest Florida is your touchdown headquarters for the Mosley Dolphins and the Auburn Dogs. Your source for the most live football on the Gulf Coast in a rich audio experience. 102.1.
Around this afternoon and 15, water temperature in the Gulf is 87. Those showers and thunderstorms will stick around for Thursday and Friday, highs in the 80s. This weather forecast had been brought to you by Earthworks of Northwest Florida. For 104.3 and 102.1 ESPN Northwest Florida, I'm meteorologist Tim Root.
Dear past, present, and future football watchers, you know why we're here. The football season is back! Woo! That means those pregame barbecues with an ice-cold Pepsi, totally back. Your perfectly placed football-watching corner seat, back and comfy as ever. 18 Sundays of touchdown scoring, Hail Mary throwing, ice-cold Pepsi flowing football action. You better believe it's back. And since that's too amazing to miss a single second's worth, Pepsi is officially giving you permission to always put football first. And when we say always, we mean always. Like when your lawn is looking less like a lawn and more like a jungle. If the game's on, then the lawnmower ain't. And those gutters you haven't cleaned, today is not their day. Or maybe those in-laws are back in town. Well, better hope they're football fans because your Sunday is completely booked. Long story short, crack open a Pepsi and don't let anything get between you and your football watching. With love, Pepsi, made for football watching. That's what I like.
Bay Breeze Bait and Tackle, this is Tim.
Do y'all sell bait?
Yes, we seasonally stock live shrimp, live bull minnows, live sand fleas, live fiddler crabs, earthworms, night crawlers, crickets. We also stock frozen shrimp, sand fleas, mullet, squid, pre-rigged ballyhoo, bonita, stingray, cigar minnows, Boston mackerel, Spanish mackerel, and a few other miscellaneous baits. It's worth the drive to buy premium locally sourced bait from Bay Breeze Bait and Tackle, located directly off Highway 98 on the west end of Panama City Beach.
The #1 SEC call-in show is now twice as big. It's double the Paul Feinbaum Show. Weeknights starting at 6.
Okay, but also go faster.
Now back to the Afternoon Underdogs. Live from the Rib Crib Studio. 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida.
Your Atlanta Braves did get a win today by the score of 14-2. So you'll have Feinbaum tonight after the Afternoon Underdogs, and then they'll get a series underway. I believe that'll start. Are we starting that tomorrow? They have an off day tomorrow. And then Friday, start a series with the St. Louis Cardinals. The Yankees took the Mets down again. We'll be talking to Sam here in the next segment. But now we've got the owner of Golf Plus on the line with us, Alan Watson. Alan, my friend, what's going on?
Not too much, David. Are you guys doing all right over there?
We are doing just fine. I was going to ask you a question about video games, and I thought you probably could care less about that. Tell me what you're thinking about this new TGL, the Team Golf League. First off, do you think it'll rival LIV?
So this is what's interesting about this whole situation. You've got all these guys complaining, like Davis Love, who I have a lot of respect for, one of the greatest players to ever play on tour. But he's saying, oh, look at what Greg Norman tried to do back in, 94 or whatever, and look at what he's doing now. And the problem is with Greg Norman is it's more money for few people, and it's not good for the whole game. And then here comes Tiger Woods and Rory McIlroy and this other guy, and they go, oh, we got this little mini league thing, but it's going to be more money for just a few people. Oh, wait, where's everybody complaining? Where are all the people that are bitching and moaning? This is the exact same thing in a different format. Give me a break. I mean, this is so ridiculous that we're going to let them get away with this, but yet we're going to crucify Greg Norman and the guys in Live Golf for doing what they're doing. I'm absolutely appalled at what's going on right now in golf. I mean, this is just ridiculous. The format-wise, stadium stuff, events, sounds fun, sounds creative, sounds fun, but the undertone of this reeks, man. This is just, it's terrible in my opinion.
Preach on, brother.
Yeah. Amen. Go ahead, bro.
I was going to say, Alan, it's funny. David and I were laughing before we came on. It's funny how so much news drops on Wednesday before we bring you on with this stuff. But,
right.
Yeah, this is just a joke. I mean, they've come out and vilified the Live for so long for all of the stuff that guys like Phil and all have been asking the PGA to do for years. It's not like they just went and created this upstart to bury the PGA. They've wanted the PGA to do this. And now after burying these guys, they come out and do exactly the same thing. The virtual thing is interesting because it's its own thing. It's a little different. But, yeah, these upped fees and now forcing all these guys. Look, if I were running the Valspar, I'd be pretty upset that I'm not on one of those 13-tiered tournaments that they've got now. I think they're going to have sponsor trouble. Am I right?
I think so. I mean, this is frustrating because, again, we're singling people out. We're making some people, the rich get richer and other people don't. And this just really reeks of this elitist, the same things that they are so mad about Liv and about Norman and Phil. It just looks like a little bit more of the same. I mean, I can't even tell you how frustrating it is to see. Now, some of those same critics may come around and criticize this eventually too, but right now it's hard to criticize when Tiger Woods is involved because he's the number one draw in golf. He's the number one name in golf, has been for a long time, probably will be for a long time. And so he gets the benefit of the doubt where other people don't. But what I wonder about, and that's all we really do on these shows is wonder, and what I wonder is, had Liv never happened and had this come along, and would the PGA Tour and people on the tour be like, oh, Tiger's trying to compete with the tour. Tiger and Rory are trying to have their own thing, and they're trying to mess with the establishment, But because we already have Liv, it's like, well, we already have the devil, So now it's like the devil versus something else, I don't know. This is so confusing.
Another name for the devil, I guess, Beelzebub.
Well, it's almost like they're trying to position themselves as the good guys here, reacting to the evil when they're doing exactly the same. I'm more interested in your take on this. With Tiger coming in and Ricky Fowler, who is well thought of in that locker room, those guys coming and doing what they were doing, is it conspiratorial of me to think that we have seen the beginning of the end for Monahan? Is he being pushed out here quietly, or what? I don't know. What do you think?
Yeah, I just don't know. It's certainly possible, but I think it's sort of a little bit like, trying to think of a good comparison. Well, it's kind of like the NCAA in football.
Mm-hmm.
For a long time, we all thought they had a lot of power, and then things started happening like NIL and other things, and they were kind of forced to either get on board or kind of get out of the way. And you kind of realize that really there are bigger things at play, and sometimes commissioners and or leaders and or groups that sort of sanction or oversee these things don't necessarily have as much power as they thought they did. They're just really more there as oversight. And so that's kind of the way I look at it, because for a long time, we thought, oh, every time that somebody screws up on the football field or the basketball court, the NCAA swoops in and slaps their wrist or fines them or gives them some kind of penalty, and then crazy stuff happens, and it's almost like they don't even exist. So I think Monahan could stay on. No problem. I just don't think he has a lot of power anymore. I don't think he looks like the power broker anymore. I think he just sort of looks like he's a bystander that's collecting a check and going, well, y'all do whatever y'all want, and as long as I can keep my job, I'll be happy, But I don't know that it's necessarily the end for him. I just don't know that he's as powerful as we thought he was.
You're listening to 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida. We're on the line right now with the owner of Golf Plus, Alan Watson. Alan, y'all have at least, that I know of, 3 simulators. And if they were to do this virtual tour, how close, how similar is the virtual golfing to the reality of golfing?
It's really good, David, in all of the shots until you get to the green. It's really difficult to have putting simulation that feels right, and it's because the depth perception issue. So you see the hole on the screen, it's 12 feet in front of you, but the computer's telling you you're 30 feet away. Or maybe it's a 3-footer, but yet the screen is still, 12 feet away. That's where the screen sits. So even though you see it, it doesn't jee-haw with your brain. Because there's a disconnect there. So the putting is the part that's really difficult. Now, somebody may be able to solve that problem. I don't know, obviously with money and technology. But I've been using a simulator for 25 years in my stores, and obviously as technology's gotten better, things have gotten better. But the putting is the one thing that people still struggle with when it comes down to playing simulator golf. So especially if you live up north, they have leagues and stuff. They have to use them because obviously the courses are just snowed under or too cold to play on. Down here, we don't really use them that much except for fitting and whatnot, sort of rainy day golf. But long term, most golfers do not want to play simulator golf if they can go out and get outside on the real grass.
Yeah. So do you think that this league will have the legs that the legs that the Live Tour has already started growing?
I don't know. I think it's way too early to tell for that. We talked about Live for a long time before they played that first tournament, and I was probably, 50-50 that it would really make. But after that first tournament and after especially the second event, now I think it really is here to stay for at least 3 to 5 years and see if they can prove the product and continue to grow it and make it be viable. I think they've got at least some legs because this isn't off the ground yet. I'm still in, let's wait and see mode. But again, you do have some very powerful people involved in it. So that certainly would give it the best shot possible to make it go.
Hey, Alan, it's Miles. Would you like to see Liv play like 1 or 2 night tournaments a year during the summer so they're not competing with PGA or anything else? I'm thinking like 6 p.m. to 10 p.m. Central Time. They have lights on the course, everybody can see, and it's over in 4 hours.
I think that would be interesting. I think lighting the golf course is going to be difficult. It's going to take a lot of, electricity, a lot of lights. I think the guys are going to have some weird shadows and weird shots that they're not used to. So I think it would be entertaining, but I don't know that it would be as easy as lighting up even a giant football stadium, right? Because at least you can aim all the lights in one spot, whereas with golf, it's all over the planet, especially if somebody was to hit a wayward shot. So that could be a real issue. But I think maybe on a small scale, that might be interesting. I certainly would tune in to see what night golf for golfers look like. I would also be willing to tune in. I wish they would start a John Daly tour where everybody has to play barefooted and shotgun a beer every couple of holes. And, like real amateur golf looks like. I'd really love to see professionals play while they drink alcohol and, wear shorts and a shirt's untucked like John Daly style. Now that's golf I'd pay to see. But anyway, I digress.
I would be so interested in that league. You got to smoke a cigarette each hole, and you got to shotgun a beer before each hole. So then the best of the best is only going to be still standing when you get to hole 18. Yeah. Alan, we're out of time for today. Thanks so much for the time.
Thanks, guys. Y'all are awesome. See you soon.
All right, y'all go see Alan Watson down at Golf Plus. They've got a Dothan location and a location at the shops at Edgewater. If you just got yourself a new set of clubs and you need to get set up, there's no better place. Actually, I don't know if there's another place here in this area, but there's still none better than Golf Plus. If you or anyone you know, if you know a veteran in need, please listen closely here. The 15th annual Homeless Veteran Stand Down is hosted by Career Source Gulf Coast, and they're here to help. Free services include employment services, medical and dental assistance, housing referrals, social services, and VA benefits. Plus, free toiletries, non-perishable food items, and box lunches are available. Free bus transportation to and from the event will be provided by Baytown Trolley. The 15th annual Homeless Veteran Stand Down will be held on August 26th from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. at the Gulf Coast State College Student Union East Building. This public service announcement is brought to you by 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida. You're riding with the Afternoon Underdogs. Braves got the big win today. We'll be talking with the host and creator of the Braves Dugout podcast, Sam Peebles, when we return.
104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida is the Panhandle's destination for the Atlanta Braves.
Got him swinging strike three.
Ozzie Albies, Austin Riley, Ronald Acuna Jr. and the Braves are back.
Unbelievable.
And hungry for more. Listen to the world champion Atlanta Braves on a world champion radio station.
Rosario knocked the living daylights out of it.
104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida.
Clouds and showers of thunderstorms roaming around this afternoon and tonight. 60-70% coverage. The high around 85, the low around 73. Southeast wind about 10 to 15. Water temperature in the Gulf is 87. Those showers of thunderstorms will stick around for Thursday and Friday. Highs in the 80s. This weather forecast has been brought to you by Mid-South Lumber, the best little lumber yard in Panama City. For 104.3 and 102.1 ESPN Northwest Florida, I'm meteorologist Tim Root.
Dr. Chad Mitchell, orthopedic surgeon specializing in sports medicine and joint replacement of the knee, shoulder, and hip. He serves our local athletes and our community. Southern Orthopedic Specialist has been the leader in orthopedic care for over 20 years. New patients are welcome. Call 850-769-KNEE to schedule an appointment. More about Dr. Mitchell and Southern Orthopedic Specialist is available on their website, southernorthopedic.com. Southern Orthopedic, getting you back in the game.
As a realtor, it's important who you choose as your title company. May we suggest South Oak Title? Their offices are modern, comfortable, and state-of-the-art. South Oak Title can close transactions in any location in Florida, Alabama, and Tennessee. Their free mobile app allows realtors to deliver a net sheet in seconds. They provide mobile closing services to accommodate buyers and sellers. Their offices are beautifully decorated, state-of-the-art, complete, safe, and secure. South Oak Title, creating a better title and closing experience through technology and tailored service. Visit them online at southoaktitle.com.
The Lake Sand Scout Show is coming to the Church at the Beach on September 17th from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m.
It's totally free, and you'll get to see some of the great adventures that are possible if you join Cub Scouts or Boy Scouts.
There will be shooting ranges, horseback rides, educational displays, and more.
Oh, and Cub Scouts and Boy Scouts aren't just for boys anymore. You just have to be at least 5 years old. Join today at beascout.org.
From the Florida-Bama line to the Gulf of Mexico, from the Upper Grand Lagoon to Mackenzie Park, we are live and local.
Whether you like it or not, you have a gift.
Now back to the Afternoon Underdogs, live from the Rib Crib Radio Room, ESPN Northwest Florida.
We are back. We're inside of the 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida studios, and you're riding with the Afternoon Underdogs. Also 102.1 FM in Mariana. We're on Facebook. We're on YouTube. We're on Twitch. We've got an app. It's all at ESPN Northwest Florida. We're also on Blab TV in Pensacola, Mobile area. If you don't have them through your TV service provider, well, first off, tell your TV service provider you want Blab TV to be added. Then secondly, get a Fire Stick or get a Roku and get yourself, and then go search for the channel, Blab TV, add it, and check us out. We look great on a big screen, especially the man in the, what would we call that, a mauve shirt? What color is that?
What I'm wearing?
Yeah.
That's pink, I'm
Pink.
sure.
Pink. All right,
I don't know these fancy words you're coming up with. Arnold Palmer wore pink. I can wear pink.
I like pink. Pink sounds good. We've got Sam Peebles on the line, host and creator of the Braves Dugout Podcast. Sam, my man, what's going on?
Hey, how's it going, guys? I was always told growing up that if a man wears pink, it's called salmon.
There you go. I like that better. Salmon. I don't know what kind of French word David put on it, but salmon works for me.
Salmon works. Oh, man. Hey, Sam, so the Braves got a huge one today, 14-2 over the Pirates. I mean, that's kind of what – thank you so much, sir. That's kind of what you expected, a three-game sweep there from the against the Pittsburgh Pirates. And not only that, the Yankees taking down the Mets 2 games. Give us a recap of the series over the Pirates.
Well, I believe the Braves outscored the Pirates 22-2 during that series. I mean, we knew the Braves were probably going to sweep them. I mean, the Pirates are a terrible team right now. At least we were really hoping the Braves would sweep the Pirates because they need to, if they're going to keep up with the Mets. But yeah, I mean, it was a lot of what we were hoping for and expected. I mean, the cool thing though is what they're starting to call them, the troublemakers there at the end of the lineup. Dude, really stepping up and carrying the team. Right now, a fun stat is that the Braves are on pace to break the record for the most RBIs from the 9 spot ever. So the 1996 Texas Rangers set the record for the 9 spot in the lineup, having 101 RBIs, and the Braves are now on pace to beat that record.
Man, that is awesome. Great production. I mean, when you see guys like Michael Harris start moving up the lineup, I loved having him in the 9 spot because it just kind of turns it around. But, I mean, what Grossman has been, the platoon that they can put out there in left field, and really either way it works. What did you think? I didn't have this on the list, but we talked about it a little bit yesterday. What did you think of the Braves' move to play Ozuna so soon after getting arrested for a DUI?
I think we kind of already got the answer with that, considering he hasn't been in the lineup since.
That's a great take. So we're 2 games back of the Mets right now. As of now, we've got
1.5.
Oh, yeah, 1.5 actually. Yeah, with a win today, right? So only a game and a half back of the Mets. But 100% chance to make the playoffs. So first off, explain how the playoffs are going to work this year and the differences between this year and last year.
So the reason the Braves have a 100% chance is virtual lock because the playoffs are now permanently extended. We went from when I was a kid, there was no wild card till they added 1 wild card, and they added 2 wild cards. Now we're up to 3 wild card teams. I don't really know if I'm a fan of it yet. We'll see. But because of that, the Braves are in the number 1 spot of the best wild cards, and they would have to lose 11.5 games in the standings to not make the playoffs. And that happening with only 1 month left to play is virtually impossible, considering they'd have to lose 11.5 games against 3 other teams to not make the playoffs. So, but the way it works now is that the best division winner and the second best division winner, they get a first round bye. And now there's going to be 2 wild card series per league. So the National League will have 2 3-game series, and the American League will have 3-game series, and it'll be the worst division winner. So for the National League, it's probably going to be the Cardinals versus the worst wild card team, which right now in the National League would be the Padres in a 3-game series. And that would mean if the playoffs ended today, the Braves, who have the best wild card record, would play against the second best wild card record, which would be the Philadelphia Phillies.
Ooh.
And then it moves on as it normally would from there.
Man, so I guess my question is, I agree with you on I'm not sure how I feel about the 3rd wild card. I mean, at this point, why don't we just all 15 teams? You know, we play 162 games, and then let's play ourselves a postseason with 15 teams in the playoff per league. I mean, we're adding a lot to each to each sport outside of college football, we're adding more and more teams or giving more opportunities to win the whole thing. But when it comes to being, what would be better for the Atlanta Braves? Winning the division, and if they win the division, you would expect them to be one of those top two teams and have the bye. Or would you rather them be in that first wild card round as a wild card or as the third best division winner to stay hot and continue baseball or continue playing baseball? We saw what happened with them last year with a 88 and 82 record or whatever it was.
We would definitely want the Braves to win their division. It would be a much easier path because then they'd take the spot of where the Mets are at. Not only would they get a first-round bye, which increases your odds significantly, but then they'd play the winner of the Cardinals or the Padres rather than facing the Dodgers if they were to win the wild card series. Right now, if they were to win the wild card series, they'd have to face the Dodgers in the National League Division Series, not even the championship series. Like, they'd hit that gauntlet right away. And so it would be a lot easier, a much easier path for the Braves if they were to win that division. Much easier.
I would love, I don't care where we get to see it, just let me get a Braves-Dodgers series this year. I want to see a Braves-Dodgers series of some sort, preferably in the National League Championship Series. But if it has to be a divisional series, why not, man? Braves versus Freddie Freeman, that would be a lot of fun. We're talking with Sam Peebles. You're listening to 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida. Sam is the host and creator of the Braves Dugout podcast. How does strength of schedule play a role in the playoffs, Sam?
Well, this is why you see things like the percentages of the playoffs, teams making the playoffs or winning their division, is because not all schedules are created equal. Now, they just came out with a new schedule for 2023, and it's the most fair schedule they've ever come out with. I'm a huge fan of it. But as of right now, all schedules are not created equal. They're just not. And because of that, it's going to affect teams' records. And that's what's so odd is right now the playoffs are based on teams' records when they don't play the same schedule. That'd be like the equivalent of like Alabama playing Boise State or something in the national championship because they both went 13-0. They don't play the same teams. It doesn't make any sense. You wouldn't do that in the college football playoff. Why are we doing that in Major League Baseball? But anyways, because of the way it's set up, the Mets have the easiest schedule remaining for the rest of the season, whereas the Braves have one of the harder schedules remaining as far as playoff teams that are in playoff contention. The Mets right now, the strength of schedule as far as winning percentages go, they only have to play teams that are combined with a win record or percentage of 468, whereas the Braves have to play teams that have a combined winning percentage of 499. That's a huge difference. So the Braves, yeah, they're playing great ball, and as long as they can stay up with the Mets, they have a chance of winning the playoffs. But with the Mets having such an easy schedule, I mean literally the easiest schedule remaining, it makes it a lot tougher for the Braves to catch them. If they're all playing the same schedule, I mean the schedules for the Braves and the Mets are a lot closer than, say, the Braves and the Dodgers, because the Dodgers get to play the Diamondbacks and the Rockies, and they get to play in the National League West for 72 games this year, where the Braves had to play the 72 games in the National League East. But the Mets have an easier schedule, so that's why the odds are so heavily favored for the Mets to win their division at 75%, where the Braves only have a 24% chance of winning their division.
So I personally think the Mets are going to met it up this back half of the season, the remaining few months. They're going to mess up. But besides that, who is the AL team that is faltering in your opinion?
Well, I would say the Yankees, but they just beat up on the Mets. The Yankees are not playing too well, but they have such a huge lead in their division. They're going to win their division. It's pretty much guaranteed they're going to be the number 2 seed in the playoffs. One team that I really look to continue to fall is the Twins. They're just not playing well. And the Guardians, with the pitching that they have, are going to continue to keep that lead, I think, and the Twins might fall out of the playoff picture completely.
Man, That is wild to hear. What? Give me your chances on the Orioles. Where do the Orioles got a shot at a wild card spot?
Yep, they have a 5.3% chance.
I just had to ask because a lot of people, have been so excited about what they bring. You know what I mean? Like the season that they're being able to have, trading off Trey Mancini, who was kind of, I don't want to say hometown hero, but definitely a hero there in Baltimore, and the Baltimore people and what they did helping him get through cancer. So I just wanted to get your thoughts on that. What about a National League team right now that is surging?
Oh, wow. Well, it's definitely not the Padres, am I right? But anyway,
Come on with it.
I would say the Cardinals. I mean, the Cardinals with they got Albert Pujols hitting with his best OPS in a 10-game stretch in his career. I mean, this is insane. And Jordan Montgomery pitching the way that he has since he's left the lights of the Yankee Stadium. I mean, the Cardinals are looking really good, and unfortunately, they're about to play the Braves.
Do you think Pujols either catches A-Rod or hits 700, or both?
Well, if he keeps hitting at this rate, he'll reach 700. But the odds are not favoring him, and I would love to see him come back next year just to get that. But now that he's already announced his retirement, I don't think he's going to pull like a Brett Favre or anything and come back.
Or Tom Brady, who's our latest victim of retiring and unretiring. I mean, give me a mathematical percentage chance of Pujols in 762. Like, what's the chances he gets to 763? How many seasons? Let's theoretically talk about how many seasons it would take an aging Pujols to get to 763. Do you see that number ever being surpassed?
Oh, I don't think Pujols even has more than a 0% chance of passing that. Even if Houston can continue to hit like he is, I mean, that's what, like, even if he was to hit 15 to 20 home runs per year, which is really unlikely, that would take, 5, 6, 7 seasons.
Years.
That's just not happening.
Golly, do you see any, is there anyone on the, obviously not on the precipice, but is there anyone in the league right now, outside of Fernando Tatis Jr., that could ever catch Barry Bonds in that number of 762?
The only one I can think of is Juan Soto, just because he's so young and he has the power potential. Aaron Judge hits him out like no one's business, but he's already 30 years old, and players are retiring younger now than they ever have. It makes me sad because Aaron Judge has Hall of Fame type talent, but he came up to the big leagues so late. I don't even know if he'll be able to make the Hall of Fame, unfortunately. So the biggest power threat right now probably won't even reach it. So I would say it's going to be a really long time before we see that number surpassed.
I should have given you this question ahead of time. By the way, we're talking with Sam Peebles, host of the Braves Dugout podcast. You can listen to that wherever you get your podcast. I should have let you I should have gave you this question ahead of time to give you some time to kind of research it. But just off the top of your head, is there any team in any pro league that builds their roster and has the production and gets the production that they get out of these young players like the Atlanta Braves do, especially after the latest extension of Michael Harris?
Ooh, man, I actually just wrote an article on this. If you guys want to check it out, I do have it broken down mathematically as far as wins above replacement. So I can't answer that. No team in Major League Baseball has come close in the past few decades as the Atlanta Braves have. I mean, like, the Atlanta Braves have produced like 100 wins above replacement, over 100 wins above replacement from their farm system in the past 10 years. And the next closest one is the Dodgers, and it's only in the 60s. So it's not even really that close.
Now, keep going.
Go ahead.
Well, I was going to say, not only is Sam the host and creator of the Braves Dugout podcast, but you're also a contributor for the Morning Shift Media on Twitter. You write for Tomahawk Takes, Sports Talk ATL, and Fansided MLB. So I had to ask, where am I finding this particular article that we're talking about?
Sorry, Tomahawk Take.
Tomahawk Take. Is there anything else you want to leave us with before we get to a break, Sam?
Not really. Go Braves.
Go Braves. We'll be seeing the Cardinals in our next series. They've got an off day tomorrow. Thanks so much for your time, Mr. Peebles. We'll holler at you next week.
Absolutely.
You guys are listening to the Afternoon Underdogs on 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida. It's time to play some trivia. What year was the SEC Championship game played in the Georgia Dome for the first time? 850-215-6290 for your chance to win $25 to Barbaritos, a Pepsi swag bag, and a 12-pack of Buffalo Rock.
Weather in the Panhandle never stops. Turn to 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida and staff meteorologist Tim Root for up-to-the-minute weather reports all day long.
Moving northwestward into the Gulf of Mexico by the weekend.
In-depth storm coverage.
Gusty winds up to 60 miles per hour.
And breaking weather as it happens.
We do have a tropical storm warning.
ESPN Northwest Florida. Rely on it.
Lulu's Bar and Resto at Laketown Wharf is the perfect place to eat, drink, and relax. Enjoy a delicious dinner lakeside made with special ingredients. The kitchen is open late until 1 a.m. After dark, the good vibes keep flowing at Lulu's with themed parties and live DJs every single night. Lulu's Bar and Resto, open 7 days a week from 2 p.m. until 2 a.m. with availability for private events and birthday parties. For a complete menu and party schedule, follow Lulu's PCB on Facebook and Instagram.
If you're searching for a full-service animal hospital devoted to practicing compassionate and high-quality medicine, look no further than Paws in Paradise Animal Hospital.
Whether your pet needs preventative care, dental care, or in-house diagnostics, we utilize fear-free techniques and positive reinforcement to ensure the best experience for everyone.
Located at the crossings at Inlet Beach, Paws in Paradise Animal Hospital takes patient care to the next level using state-of-the-art equipment and client education.
For more information, visit Paws in Paradise Animal Hospital on Facebook.
Since 1955, Buddy Gandy's Seafood Market has been providing their customers with the freshest seafood in Panama City. Whether you're cooking something small or hosting a big get-together, Buddy Gandy's has you covered with a variety of fish, oysters, shrimp, crab legs, live blue crabs, a steam bar, and more. They'll even clean your catch for you. Open 7 days a week near the intersection of Beck Avenue and Highway 98. Don't forget to mention 104.3 ESPN for your 10% discount. Visit Buddy Gandy's Seafood Market on Facebook.
Ellis Agency Insurance has been serving Panama City and Bay County for years. They offer a full line of affordable insurance coverage of all types. Many people are attracted to Ellis Agency Insurance because of their friendly, knowledgeable staff. Call independent agent Johnny Ellis for a true comparison of your personal or business insurance. Ellis Agency Insurance at the Old Cullen Insurance location, 1134 Harrison Avenue, across from Dandy Donuts and Deli. Call 763-1627.
From Mariana to Panama City, from Southport to Laguna Beach, this is the Panhandle's home for live and local sports coverage. Now back to the Afternoon Underdogs, live from the Rib Crib Radio Room. ESPN Northwest Florida.
850-215-6290. What year was the SEC Championship game played in the Georgia Dome for the first time? What year was the SEC Championship game played in the Georgia Dome for the first time?
I actually knew that one.
I'll give you a hint. I was not alive.
All right. Miles is 20.
I was.
You were born.
I was in college.
You were born in the year 2000, huh?
Best year ever. So easy to figure out my age.
Would you say the year 2000 was the best year ever?
Yeah.
No, it was terrible.
I mean,
for me, it was good.
What month were you born?
March.
So you were a little bit before all of the craziness of, was it? I almost said Y2J, but that's wrestling with Chris
No, I
Jericho.
mean, it had happened
Y2K.
because it was the going into 2000.
Yeah,
So, yeah.
that was, man, that was wild.
Much ado about nothing.
Yeah, a lot to
I
do
remember
about
a lot of people
nothing.
made a lot of money on that fear, but yeah.
Oh, was that also the year? What year was it that the Titans and the Rams played in the Super Bowl? Was that the same year? Was it 99, 2000
It was 99.
season? Yeah, because we had moved to St. Pete shortly after that. We were in St. Pete, I believe, for that whole, or no, the summer of 2000 is when we moved down to St. Pete. Brian, we've got some things going on in the swimming world here in Bay County. You want to tell us what's going on?
Yeah, tonight is the first dive meet of the high school season. They're actually out there warming up right now, or doing what they can to warm up. Not sure what the cloud cover looks like out there, but the divers will get going tonight, and then tomorrow night will be the first swim meet of the high school season. So all the all the schools will be in that first meet. It's just kind of a tune-up meet for the year. So, golly, we're not even into September yet, and we're already into high school sports. So here we go.
I am loving it, man. It's a fun time of the year. We got high school football. Finally get to talk about high school sports again and sports scores and stuff. So we'll have Brian with us at least every Wednesday to keep us caught up more than ever before on swimming. And that's exciting, man. There's a lot of sports that go on in high school that just don't get the coverage. The News Herald no longer really is going to be covering high school athletics as well, so we're going to become one of those. We're going to do our best to become one of those sources. Some other headlines around the league: Kadon Slovis, the kid from USC, has been named the starting quarterback for Pittsburgh. So he's an Arizona native, all the way from across the country is where he's coming from over here to Pitt. 26 starts, 3 seasons at USC, threw for 7,576 yards and 58 touchdowns. Will he fit in nicely with Pittsburgh and kind of have a continuation from the season that they had last year?
I think he'll be fine. I actually liked Slovis out at USC when he filled in and what he did out there. I mean, obviously, I'm not I'm not as up on University of Pittsburgh football to know exactly how he fits in with their system. It's obviously big shoes to fill. I mean, Kenny Pickett did a wonderful job last year. And look, here's the other worry. Slovis been playing in Southern California. He's going to be playing in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
Now, in August and early September, that may not be much different, but it's going to be a lot different in December. So, I don't know how he's going to deal with the cold. I think he's a quality guy. I'm sure that's a good coaching staff up there that Narduzzi has. But if you asked me, would he be quite as effective? I'm not sure that he would, just because there's a lot of adjustments to be made.
A lot of adjustments and a loss of a Bolitnikov receiver in Jordan Addison.
Yeah, they passed each other on the road, I think, when they were switching schools. So, yeah. But no, Pitt's got good players. It's really just him adjusting to a new system, new environment, new weather. It'd be hard to say he's going to do as well, but hey, maybe he'll do better.
We talked about this yesterday on the show. J.C. Jackson's going to be missing 2 to 4 weeks after ankle surgery. He was playing with the Patriots last year as a cornerback, moves over to the Chargers. He was one of the reasons why I'm so high on the Chargers. That defense is looking great. Herbert in that third year is going to be phenomenal, but missing 2 to 4 weeks, and he just signed a 5-year, $82.5 million contract this offseason, so that is definitely going to be something to monitor.
That's why you got to get that contract done before you start practicing.
There you go. And don't do it in the way that Lamar Jackson gets it done. Get it done in the way that J.C. Jackson got it done. Also, for the first time ever, all 30 Major League Baseball teams are going to be playing one another in a season for the first time starting next year. So instead of playing 19 games against your divisional opponents, you'll be playing them 13 times. The new balanced schedule also has each team hosting a 3-game series. They're playing the 3-game series on the road or on the home or at the house against every team from the opposite league. You'll have natural rivals like the Subway Series, Mets and Yankees, the Dodgers and Angels, Cubs and White Sox. I really like what they're doing with the rivalries here. They're going to play each other 4 times, 2 times at the house and 2 times on the road. I think they should do that with just about every interleague matchup.
Well, I'm going to sound like the get off my lawn guy here. I don't like interleague play. I never liked interleague play. I loved the idea of never seeing a team till the World Series. I also understand that line of thinking is probably down to me and old school, and hasn't been popular in 30 years. So, look, we're down the rabbit hole now. Interleague play's been around for a very long time.
Mm-hmm.
So, in that scenario, I think this is a good idea to have everybody play everybody.
Yeah.
I miss the old days.
When I was growing up, it was we've got a trivia caller.
We do. Got Ricky on the line.
All right, Ricky, we got to be real quick. Ricky, you're riding with the Afternoon Underdogs. What year was the SEC championship game played in the Georgia Dome for the first time? 94. All right, good stuff, Ricky. You are the winner. You got 25 to Barbaritos, a Pepsi swag bag, and a 12-pack of Buffalo Rock. Do me a favor. Text your name and email, and just name and email over to 850-215-6290. We've got to get to a break.
Thanks, sir.
All right. Thank you so much, guys, for listening to the Afternoon Underdogs. Coming up next, we've got Ivan Mazel with On3.com. We'll be right back. Sorry to do all that.
ESPN Northwest Florida, the Paul Feinbaum Show.
You the man,
Hey,
brother.
Larry, quick
And
question
you-
here. Don't take this too personally, but how many tonight have you had?
I just had 7. I can't drink too many, Paul.
You've had 7 Bud Lights since when?
5:30, something like about an hour ago.
It's only 5:41 right now in Birmingham, so you've had 7 in the last 10 minutes?
The Paul Feinbaum Show, weekdays 6 to 10 on 102.1 and 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida.
Clouds and showers of thunderstorms roaming around this afternoon and tonight. 60-70% coverage. The high around 85, the low around 73. Southeast wind about 10 to 15. Water temperature in the Gulf is 87. Those showers of thunderstorms will stick around for Thursday and Friday. Highs in the 80s. This weather forecast has been brought to you by KHS and Associates, your source for affordable health insurance. For 104.3 and 102.1 ESPN Northwest Florida, I'm meteorologist Tim Root.
Hey there, I'm Swampy Jack. I've traveled the world for decades, and now I've brought some of my most exciting adventures to Panama City Beach. Brave perilous heights of the Kraken Tower swing as you soar above the beach. The whole family will have fun playing my new mini golf course, which recreates my expedition to the ruins of Angkor Wat. Skip the restaurant lines and enjoy a meal at Swampy's Cantina, and enjoy a beer while you listen to laughter bubbling from the spin coaster. Your adventure awaits at Swampy Jack's Wongo Adventure.
Hi, it's Coach James Hale. Keeping your car looking great is easy as 1, 2, 3 at Blue Sky Express Car Wash. By joining their monthly wash club, you'll get the best bang for your buck. And just 2 car washes, your monthly membership pays for itself. Don't miss the summer deal where all your monthly memberships are 50% off on your first month, starting at $9.99 a month. Become a member today at Blue Sky Express Car Wash on Bat Beach Road, right next to Home Depot. Tell them Coach Hale sent you.
This is where history is made. WGSX Lynn Haven, WTOT, W271DM Mariana, powered by Pepsi. ESPN Northwest Florida.
Ben and Deb Collins, owners of Bay Guns and Gear, have been in business since 2010, offering new firearms and accessories with a huge selection available for your hunting needs and personal defense. Turn to Bay Guns and Gear. They have the weapon for you. Discount pricing. And if you can't find what you're looking for, they'll special order it for you. Bay Guns and Gear, across from Grease Pro at 3115 Highway 77. Visit their website, baygunsandgear.com.
Live from the Rib Crib Studio. Doing what other stations can't. The Afternoon Underdogs is live and local. 850-215-6290.
Always be sure to listen for the dial tone.
104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida.
You're riding with the Afternoon Underdogs on 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida, also 102.1 FM in Mariana. You can check us out in Pensacola and Mobile area on Blab TV, also Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, and our app, all at ESPN Northwest Florida. Now bringing into the studio Vice President, Editorial, and Senior Writer at On3.com. Great website if you're not using that already for your information, especially when it comes to college athletics. You need to. That's ON3.com. We've got Ivan Mazel on the line with us. Ivan, how's it going?
It's going great. How you doing?
I'm doing fantastic. Let's start it off with a rather easy one for you. Who do you got pegged to win the ACC this year?
Oh, yeah, Cinderella in me would love to see North Carolina State take the next step, but the realist says that the Clemson defense is just so strong, and we're all curious about new coordinators on both sides of the ball at Clemson, and Dabo having to make bigger changes in his staff than he's used to doing. But Clemson's got better players, and the defense is going to be so good. I think, at the end of the day, you got to take Clemson.
So with Clemson being the realistic answer there, will they make it back to the college football playoff this year?
I don't think so. I mean, I think you can put in ink Alabama and Ohio State, and I almost feel as strongly about Georgia. But the fourth team, I think it is, whatever flavor you like. And I'm kind of looking at Utah that won the Pac-12 and it's got everybody coming back just about, except for Devin Lloyd. And they get a showcase game next week in the Swamp. I think nobody's paying any attention to them, and they're just sort of lurking out there, feeling like nobody likes them, and they're really good. So I like them.
Hey, Ivan, so I follow y'all's transfer portal page, all that stuff, and I've seen a few players have entered in the past few weeks. I want to know what you think those players, if it's either upside or downside, and why these players are entering right before the season.
Well, because they can. I mean, that's both the beauty and the tragedy of the system. Is we give the kids have freedom now, and that gives them the freedom to make good decisions, and it gives them the freedom to make bad decisions. And that goes for the portal, that goes for NIL. That's we're giving them the responsibilities that you give grown-ups, and now we have to hope that they'll execute them with with grown-up wisdom, and that's not always going to be the case.
Ivan, everybody's got pegged kind of the Big Four or the Big Five, whatever like that, to make the playoffs. But who might be out there who could make a Cincinnati-type run this year? Who's the team that maybe doesn't get to the playoff, but maybe Cincinnati 2 years ago kind of enters that conversation that we're not looking at?
Well, I think of the group of five, I think the first team I'd look at would probably be Houston. I just think they're pretty strong. I think Cincinnati will be very good, and I think the ability to know how to do it will take them farther than maybe their talent deserves. I don't think it will get them all the way back. And who's been knocking at the door for a couple of years is Coastal Carolina, and they got a quarterback, and they know how to win, and people are used to them winning. So they will get the benefit of the doubt, I think, if they keep winning.
You're listening to 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida. We've got Vice President, Senior Writer at On3.com with us, Ivan Maisel. Ivan, what do you think that Week 1 battle between the Arkansas Razorbacks and the Cincinnati Bearcats looks like?
Well, I think it'll be great fun. I expect Arkansas will win at home. It's just I think Arkansas's got enough coming back, and they're at home, and they're going to be a little more physical than Cincinnati, I think. Just better athletes. But it's going to be a fun game. I'm going to Notre Dame, Ohio State, but I think Cincinnati, Arkansas is a terrific game. And I think that and Utah, Florida are my three favorite games for next week.
Kind of staying in the SEC, Ivan, everybody kind of expects Alabama and Georgia to be in the 12-0, 11-1 frame, but kind of the rest of the league, we could have – there's too many good teams. Somebody's going to underachieve and go 6-6. Somebody's going to have the ball bounce their way a couple times, go 10-2. Who do you maybe see as the team that kind of underwhelms, that people think are going to do well, and maybe the team that steps up that we're not thinking about?
I am bullish on the Tennessee Vols. I think they may be ready to take that next step, to get to the 10 wins. And the team that I'm still Texas A&M still got to show me. I'm just not yet convinced. We think they're better. The O-line is supposed to be better, but that was, that was an 8-win team last year, and, maybe they'll be better, but, I want to see it on the field.
Brian Kelly or Billy Napier at Florida? Brian Kelly, LSU, Billy Napier at Florida. Which coach is in a better position for long-term success?
Oh, that's a great question. Well, I think they're both going to have long-term success, honestly. And I'm not saying that to be a cop-out answer. I genuinely believe it. Maybe who has more success this year? I tend to think LSU will have more success this year just because they will start from a better lane than Florida will. I think Billy Napier's just got more rebuilding to do. Brian Kelly has won everywhere he's gone, and he's done it quickly. I went back and looked at his first year at every other job he's had, and the turnarounds are quick. So, I expect LSU might be a little better than we think. I don't think they'll be good enough to contend with an Alabama, but I think they will resurrect themselves pretty quickly.
Ivan, I hate even asking this when we're not on the cusp of actually watching games on the field, but it was quite the silly season here, especially the last couple of months. Do you think before the end of the 2022-2023 season, we will hear about more teams moving to the Big Ten, to the SEC? Any of that, or do you think it'll be a while before we hear of any future plans?
Well, I don't think anything will happen before the end of the football season. If you ask me, will it end before the end of the academic year? I don't know. I mean, the Big Ten says they're not through. There's plenty of schools that, are yelling, pick me, pick me, pick me. And I think it will just be very interesting to see what the Pac-12 does with its TV deal and whether that is, enough to calm down the fervor, the Pac-12, other Pac-12. Yeah, I think it would behoove the Big Ten to find some other teams on the West Coast to accompany USC and UCLA.
Mm-hmm.
Whether they want to go to 20 with 4 more teams from the West Coast, I don't know. But if you could get 6 teams on the West Coast, then all of a sudden it's not as onerous for those athletes. They can play more games out there and say they're in the Big Ten. But to answer your question, I don't think we'll hear that sort of momentous announcement, before January 10th, certainly.
So speaking of conferences, obviously SEC, Big Ten goes back and forth between being who's number 1, who's number 2. Which conference do you believe finishes or is looked at as the 3rd best conference this year out of the Pac-12, Big 12, ACC?
That's a good question. I think it'll be the Big 12. I think Baylor is going to be good again. I think Oklahoma will be good again. I think Oklahoma State will be good again. They've only got 10 teams, so if you can get 3 that are good enough to be highly ranked, then I think that's pretty good. So, the ACC, I'm excited about Clemson. I'm excited about NC State. I was excited about Wake before the Sam Hartman news. And, we'll see how they do, but maybe there's somebody else out there. Miami is I think a great story. I don't know whether they'll be a good team, but to see how they do with Mario Cristobal coming home, I think is going to be a lot of fun to follow over the course of the next 14 weeks. So, but I'd say of the other 3 conferences, I'd take the Big 12.
Kind of along the lines of those 3 conferences, looking ahead a year, 2 years, 3 years down the line, assuming we're going to this kind of 4-team super conference kind of setup, which of those 3 remaining conferences is the most likely not to be around in the next 3 to 5 years?
That's a great question. Well, if the Big Ten pursues more teams, then I think the Pac-12 is the most vulnerable. they may get a different TV deal, and then all of a sudden the rules change in terms of the facts change. But I think right now the Pac-12 is the most vulnerable, and I think geography has a lot to say about that. I mean, they don't have a team in LA or won't have a team in LA, and I think that's, I don't know if it's a blow you can't come back from, but it's certainly a crippling one.
Do you have a player that's under the radar right now? By mid-season, the nation will know his name.
That's a great question. The guy I'm really curious to see if he can stay healthy and produce the way that he started to last year is Blake Corum at Michigan. He's their all-purpose back. He's not big, but boy, is he quick. And he's like 5'8", 200. And he got an ankle last year that really hindered him over the second half of the season. But he's a lot of fun to watch. That's a guy I'm going to keep my eye on early. And the same type of player, actually, Sean Tucker at Syracuse, who very quietly ran for 1,600 yards last year. And an offense that's usually pretty explosive. So those are the two guys that come right to mind.
We're talking with Ivan Maisel. You're listening to 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida. Last question we got for you. What's the main storyline that you're looking forward to throughout the season?
I'd say the two team-wise, I want to see how hungry Ohio State is. Are they the whole mission of Bingham, getting beat by 2 touchdowns by their arch rival at the end of last year, something they're not accustomed to, and how much that has fueled their off-season preparation, and how much will it sustain them over the course of the season. We all assume it will, at least I do, and that's one reason I've ranked them that high, but I think that's a compelling storyline. And in terms of individual players, Will Anderson had an incredible year at linebacker at Alabama last year, and offenses are going to be keen to stop him as they tried to last year and couldn't. But if you ask the kind of year this year that he had last year, he's going to be a Heisman finalist, and who knows? Maybe he could win the Heisman. That'd be fun.
That would be a lot of fun, especially for Alabama fans and defenders around the world. Hey, Ivan, thank you so much for giving us some of your time today.
Hey, thanks a lot, guys. Talk to you this season.
Absolutely. That was Ivan Maisel. He's the Vice President, Editorial, and Senior Writer at On3.com. Great place to get all your information that you need for college football. You're riding with the Afternoon Underdogs on 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida. Coming up next, we've got Todd Miller with PCB Coins and Cards.
5 years, 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida has been the undisputed and still undefeated leader for sports on the Panhandle, with engaging sports talk from national and local hosts, play-by-play with the Atlanta Braves, the Auburn Tigers, college football, and the NFL. Plus, we're 850 strong with feeding families for the holidays at Thanksgiving and Christmas. Thanks for 5 years of broadcasting history from ESPN Northwest Florida.
Clouds and showers of thunderstorms roaming around this afternoon and tonight. 60-70% coverage. The high around 85, the low around 73. Southeast wind about 10 to 15. Water temperature in the Gulf is 87. Those showers of thunderstorms will stick around for Thursday and Friday. Highs in the 80s. This weather forecast has been brought to you by Earthworks of Northwest Florida. For 104.3 and 102.1 ESPN Northwest Florida, I'm meteorologist Tim Root.
Sick grout? Down and out? Call the Grout Doctor and they'll come up with a prescription that will cure any ailment your grout may have. Just because it's sick looking doesn't mean it needs to be replaced. They can clean it, change the color, or even repair it. You just have to give the Grout Doctor a call at 850-367-4330 to schedule a free checkup. 850-367-4330. Like the Grout Doctor Panama City FL on Facebook to unlock a special gift with your first service.
Let the adventures begin in a new Kia from Bill Bird Kia. Now offering 3.49% APR up to 48 months on the purchase of a new 2022 Kia Sorento. You can expand your horizons and ride your next chapter with confidence in the outgoing and adventurous 2022 Kia Sorento that has the perfect balance of comfort, safety, performance, and technology. Bill Bird Kia is the home of the 20-year, 200,000-mile warranty. Stop by and see us at 2435 East 15th Street or anytime at BillBirdKia.com. We make buying a car easy and give you the peace of mind that you can trust.
Offer from KMF for the purchase of a new 2022 Sorento with $22.36 per month per 1,000 financed at 48 months. Quantities limited. No down payment required. Cannot be combined with other finance offers. The 20-year, 200,000-mile warranty is a Bill Bird Kia warranty. See dealer for complete details. Offer for well-qualified buyers. Must take delivery from dealer stock through 9/6/22.
He listens to Post Malone. He drives a Honda with ground effects and has Pennsylvania tattooed on his right tricep.
Looking at a bad man.
David Hayes is part of the Afternoon Underdogs. Live from the Rib Crib Radio Room, 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida.
You're listening to the Afternoon Underdogs on 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida. Paul Feinbaum coming up next after the Afternoon Underdogs. College football is about to heat up, and so are the callers. Weeknights, if the Braves aren't on or if we don't have any college football, weeknight 6 to 10, the Paul Feinbaum Show. And I must have had something else on the mind earlier when I was introducing our next guest. It's not Todd Miller, y'all. It's Todd Mueller with PCB Coins and Cards. Todd, how's it going, my friend?
It's going good, guys. Good to see you again. Good to be here. Happy to be here. Everything's going great. Been busy. Lots of customers in and out. Lots of collections and lots of fun. Here today, definitely need to bring up probably the biggest thing that we got going on, and that's the card show this weekend. Got the card show this weekend. This is in Daphne, Alabama, at the Daphne Civic Center, and it's from 9 to 6. So it's all day Saturday, August 27th, this Saturday. So if you are interested in sports cards, like sports cards, want to buy some sports cards, want to trade, anything like that, please come and visit us. It's about 2 hours and 45 minutes away from Panama City, and it's in Daphne, Alabama. So that is this weekend, and hopefully we'll get a good turnout. We've got about 70, 75 tables sold, so we have a good group of dealers. There's going to be a lot of inventory there. It is free admission. So come one, come all. And we're also doing some side events with the Pokemon and Magic tournaments. We will be having a large Magic tournament as well. I believe it's a 5K or 1K up to 5K, depending on how many people enter. And that'll be a lot of fun as well for anybody who does that. So you can go on www.gulfcoastcardshow.com. You can register as a dealer still, and you can also register for the Magic Tournament. So check it out, everybody. It'll be a lot of fun. I'm pretty excited for that. The number two thing that I wanted to bring up today was that we did find some people to help us in the back. So we're pretty excited about that. Please keep sending your resumes in. Please keep contacting us and come in and see us because we always have room for more people. But we did find someone who is starting to work for us, and we're pretty excited about that. And, of course, we've got a lot of sorting going on with that. Brian knows. Brian comes in and helps.
I do. I've seen a little of everything.
Have you gotten better as the time's gone on? Have you gotten faster?
I think I'm pretty fast. The hardest thing for me would be a couple of the newer names I'm not as up on as I was the older guy. I'm the one who deals with the older stuff better than the kids
I just got several boxes of that in,
there
so
we
I
go.
can't wait for Brian to see some of that stuff. Anyways, so it's been a lot of fun. So everything's going pretty smooth. An update on our table. Our table is in. We are waiting for our contractor guy to come get it and install it. So that'll be fun. We're working on several fun things, working on some website stuff, and we finally have some marketing and advertising going out for Gulf Coast Hobby, which is the TCG side of things. And so we are starting to get a lot more traffic in for that. The coin sales have been picking up, especially the coin collections coming in. So also we're very excited about that. So as a reminder, we're PCB Coins and Cards. And as a reminder, we deal in coins, sports cards, and TCGs. TCGs being trading card games, such as Magic and Pokemon. So anyways, so that's what's going on at the shop. That's what we got going on. As far as that, I actually just wanted to bring up today about NFL football. I'm super excited for NFL football. I'm an NFL football guy. Love to watch games. Always have.
Who's your team?
So I knew you were going to ask that. So you're never going to believe this. The Washington football team has always been my team, and it's honestly because I'm not too smart. Well, growing up, I grew up in Oregon. Yeah. And Washington was the state above us. So I thought the Washington Redskins were in Washington. Oh. And I loved them. Loved them. And so
well, now, there were some good teams when we were growing up.
And they were. They would win the Super Bowl and stuff like that. So I would watch the Washington Redskins thinking it was from Washington State, not understanding it was the Seattle Seahawks.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Boo. Yeah. My mom would kill me if she heard that, because she loves Seattle. Anyways, and my aunts.
That's funny.
Anyways, so I wanted to bring that up today because I thought it was kind of funny. But yeah, the Washington Redskins, as they were, now is just, I believe, the Washington football team.
Commanders now.
Is it the Commanders?
The Commanders.
It's the Commanders. That tells you how much I actually watch them now. I really don't anymore. But if I had to root for a team, I rooted for Atlanta for a while. That was a lot of fun. I lived in Atlanta for 10 years. I got to go to a lot of games. So I was in the Michael Vick era, believe it or not.
Yeah, you were in the exciting era.
I got to see some excitement, a lot of excitement, a lot of tailgating, a lot of fun. So that was really cool. And then on top of it, of course, now the Saints. So I kind of follow the Saints now a little bit, not real deep, but I just love watching the game.
Yeah.
I'm not a big statistics guy or anything like that, but I love the rookies. I love watching football. Love to hear about, Joe Burrow. Love to hear about Justin Herbert, Patrick Mahomes, all the big names. Tom Brady, he's a crybaby. But like him, he is one of the greatest of all time. He really is. But anyway, so it's a lot of fun, and I just enjoy this time of year. I can't wait till we hit October. When we're knee deep in it, and the weather's great, and all that type of stuff. I mean, I'm super excited for that, and that's one of my favorite times of the year. So, anyways, if anybody wants to talk football, anybody wants to come in the shop and trade football cards or buy, sell, whatever, come on in, because we love that stuff. We love talking about football. We love talking to all the people who are from out of town. Of course, they have different teams. Several people came in today. There was a guy from around Cincinnati, but he was telling me he was north, so he wasn't a Cleveland Browns, or he was a Cleveland Browns fan. He was not necessarily a Cincinnati fan, but he's close enough to where they have both fans. So we were talking about that, and it's just interesting to talk to.
Yeah.
And stuff. And he bought some cards. He loved Ken Griffey Jr. Obviously, the Cincinnati Reds is where he ended up.
Yeah.
So a lot of people have a good following in that area for Ken Griffey Jr., even though we know he's always going to be a Seattle Mariner.
Yeah.
I mean, let's be real.
Let's keep it real.
Let's keep it real. So anyway, so that's what's going on in the shop. Getting a lot of customers in, a lot of talk, a lot of fun. People have been opening products, and again, we have our promotion going on. So check us out about our promotion. All you got to do is come in and ask, and we will tell you all about it. So that's been good. Whatnot has been really good. I'll switch to the coins. We've been doing coins on Whatnot, and we've started implementing, not this Saturday, but most Saturdays, we're doing the games. And so what we're doing is we're doing game Whatnot stuff. And so what that is where we auction off spots for the wheel, and you win silver, and you can win gold. And it's really cool. So we've been having a good time with that. That's on Saturdays. It won't be this Saturday because we're all going to be at the show in Daphne. But anybody who watches us on Whatnot or follows us, please check that out, because we're going to be doing that a lot. And then, of course, Monday through Friday, we do normal auctions. Tuesday nights at 6:30 and Thursday nights at 6:30. And then Monday, Wednesday, Fridays at noon with me and me only.
Yeah, if you've got interesting coins, I mean, I don't have any interesting coins and all that, but I've been in there when you've done some of these games. It is a lot of fun.
It is.
And people have won some great prizes on that thing.
Yeah, they love
I mean,
it.
it's worth looking at and being a part of.
Yeah,
Definitely.
like anything. I mean, every person's not a winner. I mean, so understand that, but it's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun chit-chatting with everybody, talking with everybody. I always flip the camera around so they can see me sometimes and, harass me about how I look like Santa Claus and things like that. But it's a lot of fun, and it builds a lot of camaraderie. So we've been doing a lot on the coin side of things, and that's been a lot of fun. If you guys have coin collections out there, want to know what your stuff's worth, want to move some inventory, whatever, come see me. Again, my name's Todd, and I'm at the shop almost every day a week, 6 days a week, from 10 to 6, and check us out. I mean, we've got a lot of inventory, a lot of fun stuff to look at, and we'll buy anything just about. So come see us.
I got a couple of questions real quick.
You got one on here I definitely want to hear an answer to. The last one.
The last one. See, that was really for both of y'all.
I'm dying to hear Todd's answer on this one.
Oh, no.
For the sake of time, I'll save my favorite coin of all time question for you for next week.
Okay.
Best year of baseball cards ever. Single year, and I'll let you guys kind of get into it.
I think I know what he's going to say, and I probably agree.
You're going to be shocked because, unfortunately, it's really hard to put the best year.
Right.
If I really had to say the best year of sports cards, I mean, my initial reaction is going to be 1951 because because of Mantle. Because of Mantle. That's ultimately, but really, there are so many pivotal years. Okay, when Griffey came out, when Chipper came out, when Albert Pujols came out, and when Mike Trout came out. Those, I believe, are the most pivotal years of all of it.
Until a few weeks ago, or Fernando Tatis Jr.
and then Tatis does what he does, and But anyways, those are very pivotal years, and I think that ultimately, my answer is going to stick with the old cards. It's going to stick with, so you can call it 52. It's but they had a 51 Bowman, so I said 51. But 52 is the Mickey Mantle. I mean, that's just everybody knows that. Now, have I gotten to see other cards and other things that are just as big? Ty Cobb, things like that. Oh yeah, I mean it's massive. Some of the things that I've gotten to see over the years, and it's cool. But as far as it being the critical year, I think 1952 is what 51-52 is.
I wrote 52. Yeah, and I thought that's where
that's really what I should have said. Yeah. But 51 technically is when Mantle had a Bowman.
First year tops, the 52 top set is so iconic.
So iconic, and it really is the iconic.
You mentioned Griffey year. 89 is probably the most important year.
It really was.
I'm gonna throw one at you that honestly is one of the worst years probably, but for me it was so pivotal because I loved the products, and it was the year I really got going. 87.
Right.
And the reason that was such a bad year is that's the first year they went insane with production.
Correct. It is. They did make a good bit of cards. They did make a good bit of cards from about 1978 and on. But they went insane in 87. And in 87, you had Mark McGwire, you had Barry Bonds, Bo Jackson, Greg Maddux, Rafael Furcal, all those people. And 86, you had, and 85, you had Clemens. I mean, I can name them all off.
Canseco.
All the 80, Canseco.
All those guys.
Right, all those guys. But unfortunately, people looked at it as the steroid act, and that all those guys did steroids and ruined their cards. And the funny thing is I think you and I got to talking about this. I can't remember if it was you and I or somebody that we got to talking about this, that the fact of the matter is that it didn't ruin the value of their cards, them taking steroids. What ruined it is the overproduction. That's what ruined it. If they had produced today the amount of cards they produced for Julio Rodriguez or pick somebody, Tatis or whoever, if they had stuck to that, and it was back in 1987, now these cards would be worth hundreds a piece.
Yep.
Yeah.
Because they didn't make very many.
That's right.
Yeah.
But they overproduced. I mean, they made millions. I still have sealed product on the wall with these guys in it. Sealed product.
Yeah.
Still sealed, never opened. So,
kids should have put more of those cards in their bike wheels.
Exactly. Well, I said the same thing. I say the same thing. I mean, I've literally told people, and this is so sad. I've had people come in with 90s cards, and I'm like, look, they're like, well, what should I do with them? I said, well, I mean, I don't know. Throw them away, honestly. I said, because if you throw them away, you at least
It's
make
getting cold soon, bonfire.
Yeah, you get one less of those cards out there. That helps.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a supply and demand factor.
The only chance you have to move anything from that time frame is you just have to connect with the right person who just doesn't have that one.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's hard to do.
Who's looking for that one? And it's
That's
so
right.
hard to do because there are so many of the 90s. And the interesting thing, we can talk about this another day, but eBay changed
completely
everything.
Absolutely.
So the online auction world and the online, Instagram Live, Facebook Live has changed everything. And so, and I've had long talks with my old business partner, Nathan. And Nathan and I have had long talks early on when we were business partners in the card shop. And we would talk about how eBay changed so many things for people. Everybody who had a Ken Griffey Jr. rookie could now post it on eBay.
Yep.
And instead of you going down to your local card shop and going, oh my gosh, they don't have any Ken Griffey Jr. rookies and I really want one, and you searching high and low in your hometown for a Ken Griffey Jr. rookie and you can't find one, but now this market where you go on eBay and there's thousands of them, that's where it got figured out that they overproduced. That's ultimately what happened.
Every card was available to everybody.
Everybody. And
We're out of time for this segment. Next week, I kind of want to do 2 segments because I want to get into your favorite coin of all time.
Right.
Do dollar bills. I mean, does that type of currency hold the same type of value? Which rookie card you're looking forward to making the biggest jump? And then also just got a text in about video games and their collectability. So maybe we'll stick around for 2 segments next week for sure because we'll also have the Daphne show to... Well, no, that's...
No, it'll be next week, but I want to talk about the Daphne show. I want to talk about how well it went and who all showed up. We are supposed to, I forgot one critical thing.
Yeah.
We are supposed to have Wallace Gilberry there.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Wallace Gilberry is supposed to show up and be doing signings. There will be a fee to that, but he will have a table and he'll be set up. So he was a Alabama great and I believe a Cincinnati Bengal too for a good bit of time. And his claim to fame is he has sacked Tom Brady. Thank God.
Crybaby.
Anyways, so so that's what's going on, guys, with the shop, with everything. If you guys have any more questions or need anything, everybody can reach out to us. Remember 850-320-8388. Give us a call, give us a text, do whatever you need to do, but contact us and let's do some business.
Yeah, Gilberry played for the Chiefs, Bucks, Lions, and finished his career with the Cincinnati Bengals. Y'all, that was Todd Mueller with PCB Coins and Cards. You will not regret going out there and checking out his shop. I'm telling you, it is a great spot. Right over there, Panama City Beach, right by Florida Linens. We've got to take a quick time out. We'll be up next with Steve Barnes from therebelwalk.com.
ESPN Northwest Florida.
There are a lot of other ways to illustrate whether or not a person is a man of principle and character than asking, would he help dispose of a body for me? The mere fact that entered your mind in this discussion is, to say the least, disturbing.
Greeny, weekdays 2 to 4, ESPN Northwest Florida.
Great design is timeless, and that's why Tracy's Fine Jewelry inside Coin and Bullion Reserves offers a stunning selection of vintage, antique, estate jewelry on sale now at 40% off. Exquisite Victorian rings, Art Deco diamond brooches, Georgian and Art Deco bracelets, earrings, and pendants. These one-of-a-kind pieces add personality to any ensemble, and now at 40% off. Find your timeless treasure at Tracy's Fine Jewelry inside Coin and Bullion Reserves.
Hi, I'm Bobby Likas with today's Car Clinic Minute. A friend asked Henry Ford, "Soy, what you been up to?" To most people, this has been a greeting. But to Mr. Ford, it was an idea. I'll tell you how he used his noodle when I come back.
The Car Clinic Minute.
It's Bobby Likas Car Clinic, brought to you locally by Hewitt Tire and Auto.
Call 850-769-7323.
Your certified AAA service center and hometown towing.
Visit them online at HewittTire.com.
on Airport Road in Panama City.
That's 850-769-7323. Hewitt Tire and Auto Center in hometown towing.
Henry Ford's known for great ideas, but he really used his bean on this one. Soybean, that is. During the Depression, Ford's chemists focused on converting agricultural products into industrial products to stimulate the farm-based economy. Enter the soybean who, in My Fair Lady style, was transformed from dirt-poor roots into the plastic of star car parts, like horn buttons, gear shift knobs, and body enamel. Soy wouldn't, you know? Ford didn't stop there. He also developed a soy wool-like fabric that cost half of sheep's wool. I'm Bobby Likas. Like us, you'll love us.
More Eagles. Coming this September, another year of live play-by-play with the Auburn Tigers. Now back to the Rib Crib Radio Room with the Afternoon Underdogs. 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida.
We are back. You're riding with the Afternoon Underdogs, and I'll tell you what love is. Love is you guys listening to us on 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida. I'm David Hayes, along with Brian Haddad and Miles Lashley. We have Steve Barnes on the line with us. He's a senior writer for the RebelWalk.com. Steve, how's it going this afternoon?
Hey, guys. Hey, thanks for letting me follow Ivan Mizell. Golly, man. No pressure there. And, you know, think about this. Ivan Mizell, Danny Sheridan, and Brian, all from Mobile.
That's correct.
Who knew such athletic prowess came from one town?
Look, that just proves
and
to
Miles,
you that they should have stopped at 2.
And Miles, 2000, come on, little brother. Best year ever, 1964. The day I was born is the only day in history that one band had all 5 top hits on the Billboard chart.
That's right.
Well, how?
The Beatles.
How about that? The more you know. And Miles is like, who's the Beatles?
Yeah, that was Paul McCartney's first band.
Dude, isn't it kind of, I'm actually a fan of the Beatles. Isn't it like funny how, or to me, it's just crazy how their music was so far ahead of its time. Like, even today, I'll hear a song and I'll be like, what band is it? Oh, that's the Beatles. Wow, their music really transcends time.
Well, I think it was the writing.
Yeah.
You really don't get that a lot, you know, these days. But the Beatles, they were great at writing. They were great at the harmonies. And they just struck a chord.
Yeah. Great stuff there.
And who doesn't have the White Album? Come on. Who doesn't have the White Album?
So, Steve, I got to ask you, you called me last week and we were on the show talking about Troy's quarterback room. You said they were one of the best in Alabama, if not the best.
Said the best.
I'm pretty sure I remember you saying they're the best. I want to hear you elaborate on that a little bit more and all their players in that quarterback room.
You are not the only one. I think I've done radio shows from Mobile through Huntsville with people yelling at me about that. But I think I'll back it up pretty well. I mean, if you look at the big three, if I call them the big three, look at Auburn. You got Calzada. Now, he did beat Alabama last year, beat Auburn. But he also lost to Arkansas, Mississippi State, Ole Miss, and LSU. And I rewatched that Mississippi State game the other night. Mm-hmm. He played really, really badly, so he's inconsistent. Then you got T.J. Finley behind him, transferred from LSU. He's already been arrested once this year, so, I mean, how, confident are you that he's going to be there? Then after that, you've got a senior that never played, a sophomore, redshirt freshman, a true freshman. Now, Robbie Ashford, good quarterback from Hoover High School, he's never played before. Mm-hmm. So if you lose Calzada, you really don't feel that confident as a Tiger fan. Then at Bama, of course, you got Bryce Young, won the Heisman, threw for 5,000 yards. After him, you've got Milroy, who in his career is 3 for 7. Then you have 4 true freshmen. One of them from Flomaton, Alabama, who played 3A football. Okay, if Young goes down, how confident are you on that one? Yeah. Then at Troy, you've got Gunnar Watson. I think he's going to start the Ole Miss game. He's a returning starter from last year. He's thrown for almost 4,000 yards and 24 touchdowns. If he goes down, Peter Castelli's there. He's a 4-star who was at Utah last year, who kind of won the Pac-12, went to the Rose Bowl, and should have beat Ohio State there. And then now you got to transfer from West Virginia, from West Virginia to Western Kentucky, now to Troy. And I have to apologize to his family if they happen to listen. His last name is now pronounced Dagey. I always thought it was Doge, but it's Jarrett Dagey. And he's the NCAA active leader in passing yards and touchdowns. I think I would feel better if my starter went down with Castelli and Dagey.
That's compelling evidence. There's not much of an argument that you can make there. Good. The only one, when you add stats to it, then yeah, you're 100% correct. Because if Bryce Young were to go down, then it's next man up type thing for
he's
Bama.
right when Steve's right when you're talking about the quarterbacks themselves. The problem. Or the issue at Alabama will be, if Bryce Young goes down, Jalen Milroe, they're high on him, but he doesn't have much of a resume. But, man, he's got weapons.
That's the weapons around him.
So he's going to look better than maybe he is, right?
Now, on that note, who knew Tua before he threw that touchdown pass to win the national championship? That's a true freshman. So.
Tua's shining moment for me was against Vanderbilt. I love watching all 4 quarters. Tua's shining moment, or when Tua came out to me anyways, before the 2nd and 26, he was playing against Vanderbilt. He came in, and he pulled one of those Johnny Manziel type throws where he spun all the way around, and I forget who he found in the end zone, and I was like, that kid is about to take Jalen Hurts' job.
The funny thing about Tua, and the reason that 2nd and 26 was so shocking to everyone is because we were still in the middle of cursing him for taking that sack the play before.
Yeah, right.
And then all of a sudden it's like, wait a minute, how are we in the end zone? What the heck just happened here?
We just won the national championship game with 2 freshmen. Oh, man. Steve, let's go ahead and take a quick break, and then we'll finish out the show with you, okay?
Sure.
All right, we got Steve Barnes on the line, senior writer for the RebelWalk.com. We got to move things along quickly. We'll have a short break, and then we'll be back to finish up the Afternoon Underdogs.
ESPN Northwest Florida. It's the Coach James Hale Show.
What are you saying?
I'm saying.
I heard crickets.
I'm saying the answer could be Deion Sanders. What I'm saying.
It's hard to know. I'm a fan of Deion. I definitely am. Excitement and energy that he brings to the game, especially as a coach.
Weekday mornings 7 to 9. ESPN Northwest Florida.
104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida are proud members of the Panama City Beach Chamber. We'd like to welcome the newest members to the Beach Chamber. Biz Problem Solutions, Candy Maker Candy Stores, Clear Title and Escrow, Fee Awesome Sauces, The Right Move Senior Resource, WSI Next Gen Marketing, Alexander Air Conditioning. Congratulations from the area's only sports radio station, 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida.
Hello, this is Rick Vossen with RV of Panama City, your local Stormore portable building dealer. We are located on 2241 East Baldwin Road, Panama City. Shopping for an 8-foot to 16-foot in width or 10-foot to 60-foot in length, cabin, garage, portable building, whatever the needs are. Remember, at Stormore, we can insulate our buildings. We can put electric on, thermal windows, transom dormers. There's so much we can do. Stormore Portable Buildings, 2241 East Baldwin Road.
Hi, I'm Kevin Shady with KHS & Associates. We represent private insurance providers using multiple nationwide PPO networks for pre-negotiated discounted rates and no copays, no co-insurance, and no deductibles. If you're interested in a quote, give us a call or text 502-386-1128 and provide us your zip code and the ages and gender of those to include. Call or text us at 502-386-1128. That's 502-386-1128.
It's the cooling season, and time to call Steverson Air Conditioning for your preventative maintenance to keep your air conditioning system operating at full capacity. Steverson Air Conditioning has preventative maintenance programs, and they service all makes and models. Steverson Air Conditioning offers air duct cleaning. Steverson Air Conditioning has after-hours service and free estimates on a system change-out or duct cleaning. Call them at 248-1109.
Number of rings since 1987. Dallas Cowboys 0. J-Lo 5. Just saying. Now back to the Rib Crib Radio Room with the Afternoon Underdogs on 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida.
You're riding with the Afternoon Underdogs on 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida, also 102.1 FM in Marianna. We're on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, and our app, all at ESPN Northwest Florida. You can also check us out on Blab TV in the Pensacola or Mobile area, Blab TV. We're on the line with Steve Barnes. He's a senior writer for therebelwalk.com. Make sure you check out therebelwalk.com. Steve and all of the other staff there put out great content daily. Steve, your group of 5 team that's most likely to make a New Year's 6 bowl game.
Well, I have to agree with Ivan. I think it's going to be Houston. But, I mean, there's some other teams that have a shot. I'm just, looking at their non-conference. Let's face it, if you're going to make the playoffs, you have to go undefeated. And to possibly go to the New Year's 6 bowl, if you don't go undefeated, you can only lose 1, and it better be to a Power 5. And Houston plays Texas Tech, Kansas, and Texas San Antonio. I like their chances. SMU they have to play, but SMU only plays Maryland. So the winner of that one, I think it's November 5th, could get that bid. And other than that, and the Sun Belt, Louisiana, even though they lost Napier, their only test outside the conference is going to be Florida State. Who knows what they're going to be? Coastal Carolina has to play Virginia, but they also have to play Army in the middle of the year. Yeah, you never want to play Army in the middle of the year.
That's right.
Playing that option game. And out west, Boise would be the obvious choice. Their out of conference would be Oregon State. I would love to say Air Force. I'm a veteran. I was stationed at Hobart Field, and I would love to see Air Force do it. But after Colorado, which I could see them beating Colorado, but you still have to beat Army and Navy. And the Commander-in-Chief trophy, I think that's the most underrated trophy in college football. That thing, they go after each other. And outside of that, UAB and Conference USA, if they could get by LSU and somehow beat Texas San Antonio, they would have a shot. But out of all of them, I would say Houston 1, SMU 2.
I love that. I love both of those picks there. Does Cincinnati's loss last year in the college football playoff, does that hurt group of 5 teams' chances of getting into the college football playoff while we're at a 4-team format?
Of course it does. People are, okay, we let you in once, you lost. Okay? You just don't deserve, you don't belong here. But, look, I mean, come on. Cincinnati played as well as a lot of other teams played all year against those teams. I mean, come on. How many first round? They had 2 first rounders, Ritter and Juicy, a cornerback. I think went the first round, and I think they lost. Yeah, I think they lost like 5 guys on the defense to the draft. That's a pretty good football team.
Yeah, absolutely right. You're right though. But they showed out as well as Washington did, as Michigan State did, probably better than Notre Dame did. So. I don't know. I want to switch gears on you here. Of course, being Ole Miss guy, I'm curious about this. John Reese Plumlee going to get the start down at UCF. He seems like he'd be kind of a Malzahn guy. What do you think about him and that offense with Gus Malzahn at UCF?
I think that guy, the thing I love about John Rice is, okay, you want to talk about trivia. Here's a great trivia question that nobody is ever going to get. And I'll tell you right now that the answer is John Rice Plumlee.
Okay.
Who is the only player to wear the last number before it was retired 2 different sports? John Rice Plumlee.
That's right.
He wore number 10 in football, and they retired it for Eli.
Right.
And the year before that, his freshman year, he wore number 11 in baseball. His sophomore year, they retired that for Don Kessinger.
Sure did.
He wore 2 retired numbers.
Wow.
But the best thing about that kid is he is Tim Tebow, but a little smaller. And they're going to love him at Orlando. he's smart. He's not going to make mistakes with the football, and he's just going to electrify that offense.
I'm excited about it. What you got, Miles?
So I want to know what you think about BYU. I'm really high on them. They're starting ranked number 25. They have a very hard schedule, but I think they're going to power through it. I can see them in the top 10, maybe the playoff picture. I don't know your thoughts on them.
I don't think they make the playoff picture, but top 10, I can see that definitely. BYU's always going to have just talent. They're just going to, always. They're going to get it from Hawaii, California, all through the Mountain West region. And out into Pennsylvania, they get some kids. And I think this, I said this, I think, a couple of weeks ago, Arkansas goes to BYU this year. And I think that's the one that Arkansas better look out for. Because BYU is going to have players, and you're going to be playing in that air up there, or lack of. So I think Brigham Young, think about this, when has Brigham Young not been good?
That's right.
That is true.
And we're going back 40 years. I mean, they won the national championship in, 84, Steve? Is that right?
Can't remember.
Yeah, it was 84. They shared it with Michigan, I believe.
That's right. Yeah.
And they beat, who did they beat in the Holiday Bowl that year? That last, I forgot who it was. No, it was Michigan they beat in the Holiday Bowl. But they shared it with somebody in 84. Was it Ohio State?
Man, I love football. So that BYU game could be a cougar trap for the Razorbacks.
I don't even think it's a trap. I really think BYU might be favored in that game.
Wow.
Ooh, man. So, I want to ask you about who you think will have the better statistical year out of KJ Jefferson out of Arkansas or Hendon Hooker from Tennessee, but I wanted to get into the emergence of the tight ends back into the SEC. So give us your thoughts on that. We only have about 3 minutes here, Steve.
Let's face it, offenses are, they evolve. We went from the single wing to the T to the wishbone to the West Coast offense. I think we're going to get back to the tight end, and 13 players were named to the John Mackey Award this year, or the watch list, who is the best tight end in the country. 10 of them are from the SEC. 3 of them are from Georgia. and Kirby Smart said, he's got a 4 tight end package he can put in this year. Now, you put that in there. South Carolina's got 2 guys on the list. Alabama's got a guy. Michael Trigg at Ole Miss, I think, is going to be the surprise of college football.
He's very good.
I think what's going to happen is you're going to start spreading these defenses vertically, and you're going to start sliding that tight end over the middle, toss it to him, let him run 40 yards. Instead of throwing it 60, throw it 20 and let him run 40.
Well, just look at the defensive backs in this league. Who can match up with Brock Bowers? And who can match up when you've got Bowers and Gilbert on the field at the same time? It's almost unfair. It's going to be like what was 3, 4, 5 years ago when you had Hawkinson and Fant both with Iowa at the same time. It's a mismatch until these DBs get bigger. It's going to be something else.
The only thing that reminded me of was I was writing for the Pensacola News-Journal, and I was covering a Woodham and Washington high school football game. And Washington had a safety named Derek Brooks.
Heard of him.
And I got back to the newspaper, and it was the first game. I said, well, how good is he? I said, well, he's good enough that the offense needs 2 extra players.
Yeah.
Golly. Hey, Steve, we're out of time. That is Steve Barnes. He's senior writer for the rebelwalk.com. Make sure you go check out all of the content that they have there, therebelwalk.com. Steve, thanks so much for joining us. Looking forward to catching up with you next week.
Hey, and we actually get to talk about real football.
There you go.
I am so excited,
See you,
as
Steve.
well as everyone else. See you later, Steve.
Thanks, Brian. Thanks, Miles.
All right, man. We will talk to Steve next week. So real quick, catching back up on the scores from the high school world. Mosley over Sneeds in the battle of the state champions for volleyball, 3-0. Cottondale takes down Vernon, 3-0. Arnold over Wakulla, 3-0. Bozeman takes down Freeport, 3-0. Niceville and South Walton play to a close one, 3-2. And then tonight in the volleyball world at Rutherford, JV's already going, varsity's getting ready to go right now. North Bay Haven Buccaneers at the Rutherford Rams, and then then Arnold and Fort Walton Beach. They're in Fort Walton Beach. JV started at 5:30, varsity at 6:30. Paul Feinbaum's coming up next. Coach James Hill live at 7 a.m. We'll be back tomorrow at 4 p.m. Y'all have a great afternoon.
104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida is your radio home for live and local sports coverage. For the most high school and college sports from right here in our local area, it's the Coach James Hale Show.